Charts do not mean anything at this time. Everything is dependent on macroeconomics and war escalation. We are forming a massive head and shoulder structure with a little bit of a hunchback Notre Dame right shoulder right over here. And the target zone is actually breaking down to get below $90,000 potentially. Now, I'm going to let you know that all of this is BS, and all of this is still a corrective structure. The range continues despite getting below $100,000, and the highest probability is heading up to all-time high and not get a successful breakdown here below $100,000 to get below 90K or 80K if you wish, and likely getting an epic bounce in this region if we do get down there. Going specifically to the most important level, being very clear here, this is the 382 Fibonacci from the lows of April to the all-time highs. Now, we can see that that 382 Fibonacci is sitting around the $97,000 range. That is also where we do have the point of control of this range that we did have just a few months ago. Now, as you can see, the 382 is slightly above that point of control. That is where we do have this order block, if you wish. That would be the zone where we could likely be getting a massive bounce. Now, I do think that there is a chance that we do not even get down there. We are only $5,000 away. It is possible, absolutely yes. There has been some invalidations on some bullish case scenario when we do take a look at this corrective structure. Now, I did a video a few days ago that didn't get much love. We were talking about the range continuing here, adding some local bearish case setups, okay? Actually getting to 102 and even below $100,000, but ultimately getting that all-time high in the next coming weeks. Now, this drop was very much expected. I was expecting a bounce throughout the last few days to get above 106, maybe even $107,000, and ultimately get that leg to the downside. This was also mentioned on one of the previous live streams. Look for that rally to get to 106, potentially 107, and then roll back down. There was a lot of resistance in this area, and the drop was expected. All of my long positions have been closed at break even. I am currently in no long positions. Most of the profits were taken and still holding that short position that I did compound, but all of the profits have been taken as well because I do expect that this short will get stopped out at some point. Okay, I've scratched over $2,000 here. I want to take the most of the profits because I realize that a bounce is happening, and I will be getting ready for some long positions in this area, maybe some scalp shorts as well. And that will be provided in the Legends trading community. That is the 6th link down below in the description, or more directly, if I'm entering a position, in the Telegram community, guys. Make sure to join the Telegram. It is the first link down below. That is what I say basically where I'm entering the trade, where's my stop loss, and where I am targeting, okay? Being the long position from a few days ago, very successful, and not managing to get into this later short. Just had a short position from a few days ago as a head short that I have been compounding and literally taking all of the profits. Now, let's go right away on what are the scenarios that I'm expecting here for the next coming days and why I do think that in the coming weeks, we will be heading to all-time high. That is my personal opinion, of course. No financial advice, but on the charts, it does look very good. We have been invalidating the most bullish case scenarios already here, which was a triangle in your wave Y, okay, to finish this E wave, get the bounce, but that has been invalidated, so this goes directly in the bin. There was another scenario, which was this one. Of course, that also is going inside of the bin because we've broken the triangle support, okay? One of the bearish case scenarios, and the main reason why I was taking more profits on the live stream here when we were breaking down, is because we could have finished this triangle right over here, which is literally the E wave already forming a lower high, finishing your X wave. That's it, guys. We could be actually breaking down here provided on the live stream, guys. This is why I took most of the profits from that long position, saying I'm going to take another $1,000. I do see here the danger of the price rolling over to get to the very low 100k levels. Okay, this is why you need to take those profits, understanding the chart analysis. As we did have this E wave, and this E wave right over here was already losing higher lows. That's it, guys. Time to get out of those long positions, all right, and look for new opportunities. Now, this is one of the highest probability scenarios that I do see available that we have right now. This is not the too bearish case scenario. This is actually getting a leg up in the next coming days, potentially above $106,000. And another one forming another triangle for the next 1 to 2 weeks, okay, which could extend quite a lot, many days here. Now, there is a very bearish case scenario as well, okay, well, very bearish. That is actually getting a drop of a few $1,000s to get to the mid 90k levels, potentially $96,000, $97,000 as a max target zone for the bearish case scenario, in my personal opinion. That is coming all the way up here to this order block on the higher time frame and getting to the resistance levels and the 382 Fibonacci with that point of control, okay, as mentioned at the beginning of the video update, okay, point of control and also the 382 Fibonacci to expect a massive reaction bounce from that zone, okay. Now, potentially this is not going to be hit and we are going to continue this range because we are still inside of a significant range, right? We haven't got the breakdown. We are still inside of this range from all-time high and the lows, okay, of this big range, okay, just slightly above $100,000. We're still inside of the range. So what are the scenarios, you may ask? Let's go with the bearish one here, okay? There are two ways on that this could develop, all right? There's two ways how this could develop. One of them is getting this ABC marked as your W, okay? 3-wave structure and your wave W. You got your X wave, which has been quite shallow, just hitting the 382 from the highs to the lows. Inside of this range, we do have a flat formation in your wave Y. Now, your wave Y started off with a 3-wave structure to the downside, a 3-wave structure to the upside, hitting your B target here. This did get above the 1.618 extension, which really decreases probability for that B wave in a flat to hit the 1.618, okay, but it's not an invalidation. And then your C wave having a 5-wave structure to the downside. Now, this would be in a contracting diagonal. Now, I have seen all of this being formed on 3-wave structures, especially this one right over here. This one is counted better as a 3-wave structure. There's many ways in counting this as a 3-waver, but not a 5-waver. Now, of course, this gives me the open window, all right, of forming a contracting diagonal where you do have, all right, 3-wave structures developed here to form this contracting diagonal. Now, this is the most aggressive one, right? This aggressive one means that right now with the latest move, you have formed a double 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And if you do maintain below this lower high at $104,000, which would be our key level to understand that this is getting exhausted and a reversal is happening very, very soon. However, if we do maintain above $104,000 in between today and tomorrow, then I do expect another aggressive move to the downside, potentially in that 3rd wave and then 4-5, 4-5. This is to complete, all right, a zigzag to the downside, right? Where you do have this one, this right over here, and then another one, which is the most aggressive one, okay? To complete the 3rd wave of this potential contracting diagonal, then a bounce and then another move down to complete that 5th wave. All of this is on a ABC flat structure, still looking at a large WXY. This would be the most aggressive scenario that I do see happening in the next coming days. Of course, it is very, very possible. Now, we are leading that all of this is still corrective just because we cannot count this as a leading move in a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overlap with your 4th wave and your 1st wave, not possible in Elliott wave theory. If you're looking for a expanding diagonal here in this movement, well, your wave 5 is shorter than your wave 3. That is not possible. So there is no way in counting a 5-wave impulsive move, right, or a leading move to the downside to expect a third wave here or a C wave, meaning that the highest probability that all of this is corrective, guys, and that at some point we will be heading to all-time highs in the next coming weeks. Of course, more downside is possible. As explained, we do have a few scenarios, such as this one being the most aggressive one. Now, the other one, which is not so aggressive, is that we do break above $104,000, the last lower high from yesterday. This means that in the orange, as you can see, we could be forming this contracting diagonal where you have your wave 1, wave 2, your wave 3 is finished. Your wave 3 can be smaller than your wave 1, okay, in this contracting diagonal. But the 5th wave needs to be smaller than your wave 3, meaning that you could get beneath $100,000, right? But ultimately, you want this wave to be smaller than the 3rd wave. So it could overshoot below $100,000 and then get a massive bounce. If we get another lower high in this region, 104 to 105, and then claim the lows, I will be looking here for this structure for an epic long position in the next coming days as soon as this is developed, okay? So these are 2 contracting diagonals that could be developing now in the next coming days. Do I see this the highest probability? Well, there's many red flags here, okay? Your wave X was extremely shallow, not only in time, but also in price action, only hitting the 382 Fibonacci from the movement of your wave W. That is rare for a sideways WXY. And also this ABC flat potential idea, your B wave overshoot the 1.382 Fibonacci, almost hitting the 1.618 extension from your A wave on some exchanges that did hit, which is extremely rare for a B wave inside of a flat. Not an invalidation, it is just rare to see. So this is why we're taking into consideration this structure. What is the next highest probability range for the moment that I am giving here, the price of Bitcoin? It is this one right over here, which looks very symmetrical, okay? You have your wave W inside, okay, a zigzag, and then you have your wave X. You have this contracting triangle that did finish with this lower high in your E wave. And right now we have 2 options, which is the movement down. This was a scenario that we did talk about here just a few days ago, right? We could get that bounce, all right, to finish your E wave in your X and then get the leg to the downside to the low 100K levels, okay? So get a bounce and then the movement down. That is on one of the scenarios, or the triangle here in the blue. So we are going with the flat structure. You have the movement down finishing the triangle in your E wave, and you moved down in a zigzag already. Potentially this zigzag has finished. If we do get a leg to the upside and we form a zigzag to the upside and get above 106,500, we could have that flat structure. We got the movement down in the white, as you can see. All right, this would be this movement right there, but this was just looking at the, one of the structures that we mentioned a few days ago. You have the zigzag to the downside. That's what you want to see in your A wave here in the white. Now, what we would want to see is a zigzag to the upside to claim those highs of Friday above 106,500 preferably, or get very close to that zone. And then an aggressive move to the downside in a 5-wave structure to complete your C wave, okay? This is a possibility. Then this would get below $100,000, potentially hitting 98, 97,000. And that is the point where we would be looking for a reversal, okay? This is one of the structures, in my opinion, that has high probability in playing out. Now, the second one would be this triangle to finish your Y wave. Now, it is rare to see a triangle in your wave X, okay? And then another triangle in your wave Y. Of course, that is not impossible. We need to take it into consideration. It is just something that is quite rare. So a triangle, literally, you got the movement down here. Now what we would be expecting is a bounce, a lower high from Friday, all right? and then a rejection, another higher low, right? And then form this triangle till you get the completion of your E wave to then get the massive rally in the next coming days after completing this triangle to new all-time high. Now, this is just looking at the probabilities, bit of a higher time frame. We're not going to be talking about the major levels that we do have for internal scalps and day trades. I will be letting know the community what are my next trading setups that I am looking for between today and tomorrow, guys, inside of the Telegram or inside of the Discord, where I will be providing that video update to look for the scalp day trade levels, guys. Okay, you got the 6th link down below for the Discord or the Telegram, which I just say, here's where I'm entering, here's where I'm exiting, this is my stop loss. Okay, make sure to join the Telegram. Remember, guys, if you are interested in trading, you do have weeks and you do have bluffing with insane perks. Okay, with weeks you do get 25% fee reduction, and on bluffing 20% cash back up to $500. You only need an email and a password. You got the links down below, guys, to claim those bonuses on these 2 epic exchanges that only require an email and a password. Thank you very much for joining today, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.